Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Starladder Season 10 coverage. We're here with two games of the America section. I'm Zyori, joined once again by Blaze. Blaze, my friend, what is the good word on this fine afternoon?
I don't know, man. I'm pretty hype. I got the chance to cast with LD yesterday for some awesome NA Dota, and we get to go right back to it here today. SNA versus Dream Destroyers should be a pretty interesting match. A little bit of stand-in action, but otherwise, at least 4 out of 5. And I really do think that both teams have the potential to one-up one another.
Yes, indeed, my friend. This is one of the more even matchups, and it is stand-in galore. For the side of Sneaky Nick's Assassins, we do have TC drafting away, and they will have 4 out of their 5 roster. Degenerate is here today in the stead of Mr. Ush. Over on the side of DD, Bloody 9 is drafting. They've got 207, Fanny, Justin, and the Wild Witch Doctor himself. So B-Kid as well as Enzo missing from the roster today.
Yep, but still, I mean, as far as that goes, it is just one of the secondary support role sets that B-Kid was falling through. It was usually Bloody Nine that was calling the shots, at least from my perspective, from the bird's eye view. So I would have to say that if they just have 2 of 7 playing a support that can go for a basic combo follow-up, it still shouldn't hinder them too much, and they should be able to get some cool things off this game. We're going to see an interesting draft build up here with the Razor faces Void combo. Skywrath is definitely to be considered as a ban or a pick for SNA, and from here they also have to think about their lanes. If Brewmaster is up against the Razor, is he really going to get a lot of last hit, or is he going to need some supports to roam in and make sure that the Razor doesn't get too big?
Yes, indeed. It's interesting to see Dream Destroyers prioritizing the Razor over the Skywrath Mage, given that they did opt for the Faceless. Still a nice bit of synergy between those two heroes, but yeah, I would be doubtful that Sneaky Nick's Assassins will let them grab the Skywrath. It's also a little bit interesting to see Viper in that first banning couplet. Oh, boy. No Venom today. And there's that Skywrath Mage pick you were talking about.
Yeah, I mean, Viper's actually been really rising up the ranks recently. He's in the top 15 as far as pick and ban ratios. Actually, I think he's in the top 8. So he has really been rising up over the past couple of weeks as far as general meta presence, and it really revolves around that his contribution to the death ball. Just going on the front line there, usually building up a mechanism and really being the one that can tank up a huge amount of damage and still keep standing. So that's not going to be available, but Razor kind of feels the same vein of thought, and they're pretty confident with this general strategy. Fanny most likely on the Razor.
Yes, sir. So both these teams will take their time here. So I guess we need to slow down the pace of our analysis here, Blaze, because they're going to take their time with these 3rd and 4th picks, or bans rather, and even Death Prophet banned out. That's the hero that's been Dendy's go-to hero over the past like week and a half. It seems like he's been playing nothing but Death Prophet. So both DP and Viper now rising up in the ranks of banning priority, I suppose.
Yeah, in that sense, it's kind of the same idea as the Viper, but it revolves more around the cooldown timings. The Exorcism is absolutely meant for taking Roche on the Dire side, as well as potentially some towers. So giving it to a Dire Deathball team would be very scary indeed. And it is very interesting that that is as highly prioritized as heroes like Faceless Void and Skywrath, who wrecked TI4, but since then have kind of shuffled back down to like tier 1.5 status in some people's eyes. It really depends on the player how active they are with it, but I've been trying my hand at some Skywrath, and he definitely has the tools to make some big plays happen.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I can't argue with that. I'll be curious to see how Nick's Assassins do utilize the Brewmaster. You brought up a really good point about Brew laning against Razor. That is not a fun time for Mr. Panda, so they may opt to do something a little cheeky and put the Brew in more of a safe lane and maybe try an aggro tri-lane here or something if they really want to secure his farm and a Blink Dagger timing. What do you like to put up against a Razor when he's picked up this early on in the draft?
It's a tough call. I really do like focused fire damage output so that he doesn't really live long through a fight if he doesn't have a BKB. So there are a lot of support heroes that actually can contribute. Visage is one of my favorite ones personally, but I mean anybody that has a huge combo of burst damage. The Skywrath obviously is a great example too. So you want to take him out of the fight early. You don't want to have to deal with him, and you want to also be able to be active in roaming. So Skywrath works out pretty well. We've seen things like Rubik Alchemist play decently. Vengeful Spirits, one of those picks that you don't see as often, but is very valuable here and against the Chronosphere as well. So something to consider at least.
Yeah, and Dream Destroyers will grab the Witch Doctor, the Wild Witch Doctor himself, perhaps. Maybe picking up that guy, but Very obvious synergy with the Faceless Void. We've seen this a time or two, and they're also utilizing a team blue/purple. So there's always something to be said for color coordination.
10 seconds
Definitely.
remaining.
I really would love the Venge pickup here. Against Witch Doctor and Void, it's very
5
frustrating to go up
seconds
against because
remaining.
you have the guaranteed swap disable to cancel the Death Ward or to pull somebody who's about to die inside the Chronosphere out of jeopardy. I really think that would be the strongest pickup they can go for early on because also the Magic Missile is a decent enough setup for Skywrath to really pack a punch with even just a 1/1/1 build up. But they'll think about it a little bit. Maybe you want to pick up one of their cores, an IX Mike offlaner or something perchance.
Yeah, there is a Clockwork available for the off lane, which is one that I know IX Mike likes to run a fair bit here. But they will think about it. They only have 20 seconds of bonus time remaining, so they'll have to get executive pretty darn quick here. We still need a carry as well as another support, and there you go. They will pick up another support, but not the Vengeful
Dire
Spirit you were
team
hoping
pick.
for. Instead, the Shadow Shaman. Still decent setup for the Skywrath Mage, but certainly does not give you that same utility with the defensive swap and to interrupt the Witch
Radiant
Doctor.
team pick.
This looks like an old EG draft right here. Picking up the Train Protector plus Witch Doctor, a ton of sustain, ton of healing, and that's what Razor loves. You put living armor on a Razor, and he's going to have no trouble against any one of these heroes. The only thing that can really bring him down right now is Mystic Flare, and obviously that takes some time to come out on a supportive Skywrath. So Train Protector is going to make Razor just to have laning heaven essentially, and from there he can also be very active
10
on pushing down
seconds
towers and
remaining.
pressuring underneath them. He's not going to be too afraid of anything,
5
and
seconds
once they start
remaining.
collaborating, they have a lot of kill potential. They can follow up the Chronosphere with the
Reserve
Trance
time.
Ultimate, the Overgrowth, and that synergizes timing-wise very well with the
10
Death Ward.
seconds
So I love this
remaining.
combo of heroes, and I think it's going to be very difficult for SNA to deal with.
5
Yeah,
seconds
absolutely. And now
remaining.
they have really two big setups for that Witch Doctor ultimate. We see Witch Doctor paired with really one of these heroes, one of these two heroes pretty
Dire
frequently.
team pick.
And having them both on the same team means, well, even more opportunity for those huge death wards. Sneaky Nyx Assassins will grab the Bat Rider, probably headed for the offlane there. I guess aggro try is still an option for the Sneaky Nyx Assassins. But time will tell with these final bans.
10
Still some good
seconds
initiation
remaining.
for them, also to go with their Brewmaster. So now two ways to start off a
5
fight.
seconds remaining.
Yeah, I mean, the try versus try is very high
Reserve
potential against a Faceless Void in general, but I'm not sure which Doctor Treant are the supports you want to go up against. Those two can really do wonders in
Yeah.
3v3 scenarios, and Shadow Shaman is one of those heroes that's kind of limited. If
Radiant
he
team
is able to
banned.
stand and channel the full shackles, perfect, but either one lucky time lock or a cask bounce, and you're going to have some real trouble in that regard. So I think that they'd probably like to play it safe. The Bat Rider can offlane on the Radiant side very effectively, and then if there's some decent stacking coming out from the
seconds
supports, Mike can just find some farm in the jungle as well.
Yeah, and
5
Dream Destroyers will
seconds
need an
remaining.
offlaner here. Tidehunter is the obvious choice for me. I like him on the
Dire
Dire
team
offlane quite a bit. He can retreat to stack up the Ancients, and he's a nice tanky force who can be a little more aggressive with his positioning in lane, as Kraken Shell gives him kind of a get-out-of-jail-free card, as does that Anchor Smash. And it would even synergize well with all of their AoE team fights, some more Wombo to go with that combo. But other offlaners they could consider here, if they wanted some long-range initiation, Clockwork's certainly an option. I don't know
10
who else.
Tide's still in the
seconds
pool.
remaining.
Tide, yeah, I think Tide is the obvious choice, but
5
we'll see.
seconds
We'll see what they
remaining.
want to do. Still, Sneaky Nyx Assassins really don't have a lot to deal with this Treant armor. They have the
Reserve
roster wards,
time.
which will help take it off of towers, as they are multiple instances of damage. But in terms of hero damage, I guess Fire burns it off pretty quickly, but no Dark Seer, no Ember Spirit, no one that really just
Radiant
cuts
team
through it,
pick.
like a Venomancer. It will be Elder Titan headed to the Dire offlane, though, here. So not quite the Tidehunter we were thinking of, but still a hero that works very well with this huge team fight.
Yeah, I like the ET in general, but they're going to have to make sure that they time their ability usage well to make sure that it'll be prevalent in these fights here. They don't really have hard lockdown to prevent the Brewmaster's primal split other than the Chronosphere, so that's also going to have to be focused
10
essentially
seconds
entirely on
remaining.
him. ET, he is not a really great
5
defensive
seconds
hero.
remaining.
Like, if you're being dived under your towers, he'll be fine, but like if the Bat Rider pulls somebody out of position, he's not the hero you really want to respond with. So it does put a lot of
Dire
pressure on
team
Justin to land the big Chronospheres, and ET will follow that up. That's, I guess, their general game plan is to make things happen there with those two. And we will be seeing a bit of the role switch that we saw the last time Dream Destroyers came to play. They were up against, I believe, Navi US, and we did see Bloody Nine take the Centaur War Runner to the offlane, in this case the ET, and it is going to be Fanny to switch over to support. So a little bit of a shift just to try to get the optimum for this kind of player to hero combination, and we'll see how it plays out.
Yep, a little bit of the old role reversal, and I suppose it's worth reiterating here, though it should be obvious now that the Starladder overlays are turned off. B-Kid is not here today. I see a lot of people in chat cheering on B-Kid, and I'm glad to see some fans here in the chat, but unfortunately, he's one of the players that is not here, and there is a stand-in in his place. So sorry for those of y'all disappointed on that front. It is a Luna final pick for the Sneaky Nyx Assassin, so that will be the position 1. Of course, a nice hard carry, but another hero that's really fallen out of style with the kind of recent meta of the big death ball. Luna does have a couple of peaks, and one of them is early on, right around that level 7 mark when Eclipse is particularly potent, but she does take a lot to really come online and be that scary force in the mid-game when the Dream Destroyers will really be hitting their stride and running around utilizing that ultimate synergy. So if Luna has some space, certainly she will be the hard carry in this game, but will she find the space is another question altogether.
Yeah, it's a little difficult, but she is a natural Manta carrier, which is good against the Treant's ultimate. She also goes her ulti timing very well with the Brewmaster, so if TC as well as Degenerate kind of commit to a single engagement, they're going to have probably the better end of the exchange no matter what DD do, unless it is like the best Chrono Death Ward that you've ever seen. So I like it in general. If he's not too contested in the offlane, the early damage nerf isn't going to hurt him too much. And I actually, the Luna is actually a really underrated pick in this metagame. Like, obviously she got nerfed and she fell back a little bit, but if you actually look at the numbers, she has one of the highest win rates for a hero that isn't even in the top 25 in picks and bans.
Interesting. I mean, she still is certainly a potent hero, no doubt about that. Early on, she synergizes very well with tower pushing, compliments of that Lunar Blessing, and she can put out a lot of damage, just needs that early momentum in lane, and I think she'll find it this game. Elder Titan is not one that can very easily contest, and what the hell is this name, Bloody Nine? We've got him on the Elder Titan in the off lane, and he's reciting the alphabet for us. I'm not sure what the hell's going on with that, but I'm sure Starladder is very happy about it. 207 in the mid lane, playing on the Razor, and that is a safe lane try for the Dream Destroyers. Fanny on the Treant, WWD on the Witch Doctor, and that is Justin in the position 1, of course, on that Faceless Void.
Yep, looking over at Sneaky Nyx Assassin, it's going to be down on the bottom lane, Shadow Shaman harassing back that Elder Titan. That's way 2 playing him. And it's going to be supporting up Degenerate, who's playing the Luna, just trying to get the early farm momentum behind him. While Fluffs and Stuff is actually going to be looking in the jungle for some early stacks, most likely to help out Mike's Batrider. So we do have TC running on that Brewmaster, early boots to deal with the Razor's static link harassment, and actually having the movement speed advantage right now. And then, of course, as mentioned, on the offlane, it's going to be IX Mike's Batrider doing what he can now, and then falling back to the jungle once he is on better terms.
Yeah, and unfortunately for him, that first stack will yield a set of those stinky mud golems, so that won't be so great for him. A little surprised to see the Skywrath actually not just stacking the hard camp here, as you don't run the risk of those magic immune meatballs. But still, Batrider should have an okay time. You mentioned in the draft, Radiant offlane is where he really thrives. Already halfway through level 2 and has picked up a couple of last hits, so he's off to a decent start and will most certainly be leeching this experience as they utilize the pole camp here, which the Wild Witch Doctor is being pretty aggressive trying to harass back. IX Mike did pick up that first point in Voodoo Restoration, so he can stand to go blow for blow a little bit and rely on this regeneration and sustainability from a Tango and that early restoration.
Yeah, the one value point there is going to pretty much make it a perfectly fine landing phase for Faceless Void, along with this magic stick. Mike can really do nothing to thwart the Void's farm, so he's just going to try to kind of hold the position, trade back and forth with the support here and there, but otherwise just play passively and get the experience when it comes to him. Looks like there is going to be a living armor pickup early to help out the Razor. Not only did he get pooled some tangos here, but he's getting the living armor to heal him up, and yeah, the Brewmaster can't be happy about that. TC right now cannot at any point in time really bring down the Razor unless it's like a 3-man rotation, or at least a 2-man rotation to make it a 3v1 there on the mid lane.
Oh, up top, Mike almost in some trouble. Will take a cask, but pops the Firefly and does make it to the high ground. Interestingly enough, though, TC is doing very well in this mid lane. He's 11-3 compared to the 10-3 of Razor. He is going for the static link build, but TC doing well. Second point in Drunken Brawler, won't even bother with the Drunken Haze. And it seems these boots first are paying off. A pretty common starting item against the Razor that does make that static link so much less potent. You see TC trying to man up on 207, giving him a run for his money and keeping a nice little CS lead, which is not quite what you would expect, I think.
Yeah, it definitely comes down to the boots disadvantage for the Razor. Usually you see him picking up before anything, but down in bottom lane, the Shackles will come out. Elder Titan gonna take a spill. Just went a little bit too far forward. The Lucent Beam, Concussive, and Shackles, enough disable to bring him down.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a little bit of a, up top, yeah, missed that kill on Ice Mike as we were watching down bottom, but it looks like they dove the tower, and Justin will secure it. He did go for that second point in time lock at level 3, so helping out with that RNG bash, and maybe that helped assist in the kill.
Yeah, Mike didn't bring a lot of sustainability to the lane either, just a few tangos there, so it actually looks like he might be making a very quick rotation to the jungle here. Like you mentioned, the double stack including Mud Golems, but now Fluff looking to stack up the western camp, and that's going to at least yield some high-value targets for him to bring down. At level 4, he can manage it, but it looks like they want to go for a little bit of a rough and tumble first. They're going to smoke up and maybe find a kill on mid.
Yeah, it won't be the easiest kill in the world. They do have Thunderclap now at level 3 to try and slow down the Razor, but they'll have to dive this tower, and I'm not so sure about this gank rotation here. I think this is just wasted time for the Bat Rider. Maybe they can make it happen. They'll initiate onto 207. He does static link TC as he makes the run. Living Armor comes out. IX Mike is there with the Firefly, and they will be successful in this gank. They proved me wrong, and IX Mike does secure the kill. So a nice step in the right direction for him, but there is a counter kill. Skywrath Mage falls. Now they'll come in onto TC. Cursed Ground does connect. It's not called Cursed Ground. It's called Maledict. They'll still dive him down. Fanny, with the Living Armor as well as the Leech Seed, will branch him down and make it a 2-for-1, actually. Now Fanny may be dead. No, got that point in the value point. The Nature's Guys will buy items just in case he falls here anyhow. They will chase him down, looking for the neutral deny, and he finds it. Nicely played by Fanny. And DD find a great exchange in the mid lane.
Yeah, Nature's Guys level 1 only lasts 15 seconds, so the fact that he bought out with his unreliable gold and got that suicide was actually a very big deal. Down at bottom, it is going to be the death of the Elder Titan with just the Luna and the Shadow Shaman able to bring him down. The magic damage burst from Ether Shock, and that brings Luna to level 6 very, very early on with the Hand of Midas recipe in root. So Degenerate looking really strong on this lane. It was an interesting back and forth there on the mid, but yeah, although they got the Razor kill, it did come at a pretty severe cost. It was actually quite unlucky. The cask even bounced back to TC. There were 3 targets it could have bounced to. 1 in 3 chance, essentially, of him going down. And yeah, they rolled the dice, they get the luck, and TC dying this early on will delay his blink.
Yeah. Now let's take a look at this Faceless Void build. He is about on par with Luna's farm right now, and he does have a kill under his belt also. Luna has picked up at least 1 kill, and I think she's got another assist. Yeah, 1, 0, and 1. What's coming out on that Dire Courier? Is it a Hand of Midas? It certainly is. So pretty comparable timings here on these position ones, both Luna and Void, as they both had a lot of room to farm, and both offlaners have actually had kind of an unfortunate start.
Yeah, but I think DD supports have been pulling a little bit less, and obviously there's 1 less kill on the table, so Luna is still very far ahead in terms of experience right now. She is actually about to reach into level 7, while the Void is just short of his Chronosphere. He's going to go get a little bit more value and experience by Midasing from the jungle instead of the lane. That will catch him up a little bit here, but he still wants to stay on top of this. Justin, now having Chrono available, he's going to need a solo kill on top of this.
Yeah, actually, now that he grabs that first creep from the Hand of Midas, he is a little bit closer to the Luna. There was that big gap where she had her first Midas rotation, and he hadn't used his, so now it's a little more leveled up. But certainly right, she does have a small advantage here. Treant Protector, he's deep in enemy territory. He will get scouted out, pops the Nature's Guys, and he should be okay. I don't think there's any detection down. Nope, just observers in the inventory of the Skywrath Mage. So Fanny, I'm not sure what he's up to here. He doesn't have any wards on him. I thought he may be trying to block some camps or something so Bat Rider can't farm quite as efficiently, but he is just moving around, and it looks like he will head back to friendly territory here.
Yeah, a bit of a nuisance, but I mean, that's 180 mana he just expended for almost nothing. We do see it helping out on the mid, but once this Immolation strikes, they'll chew through the charges, and 207 is dropping so quickly.
But rotation from WWD, he will get caught in the Cyclone. The sustain does not turn off, and 207 getting healed up. The Brewmaster's in big trouble. He has to run for it, and the Earth Panda will not fall. He goes back into brew form. TC is okay, but they almost turned that around on him, honestly. A few more auto attacks on that Earth Panda, and he very well could have fallen there.
Yep. Not the best exchange to lose out your ultimate, but you do force the Witch Doctor away. That means there isn't a Death Ward Chrono Kill immediately happening on the Bat Rider, but Mike knows the rotation is coming, and he has to play extremely carefully. Even under his tower, there is the threat of death with this build that Faceless Void has gone for with 2 points in the time lock. There is just a little bit of RNG there, but I would definitely have to say that he is the probable next kill if he's not cautious.
In the bottom lane, the sneaky Nyx Assassins have put a lot of pressure on this bottom tier 1 tower. DD do glyph it, and they will try to heal it up with Fanny's Living Armor. He's only level 4 right now, so still doesn't regenerate all that much, but they will keep the tower standing and quell Luna's initial pushing power. Meanwhile, in the top lane, it looks like they will pressure this tower, though IX Mike doing a good job repelling them. Actually gets the Void decently low, and he will time walk back to safety before Stray Lasso catches him in a position where he doesn't want to be. Void will continue to use that Midas and now just move straight into a Mask of Madness. Brown boots into that Morbid Mask already, so he is gearing up for that Chronosphere synergy and looking towards some team fights here. Mike actually not too far off the mark for the Blink Dagger, about halfway there here at the 9-minute mark, and he is level 7. We'll move back into the jungle, stack up this hard camp, and commence the farming. So we're looking at an okay timing for the Blink Dagger. Nothing earth-shattering, but certainly on point with the average.
So the big question is, when are we going to be seeing some eclipses? Right now, Degenerate is at level 8. His eclipse is extremely potent, and he has some real kill potential, but unless they smoke together, it's just going to be a farm city for him. So for right now, just using the Midas once again, he is going to get some more mobility with the tier 2 boots that he's sure to upgrade next, but Faceless Void has already taken the tier 1, and as we've been talking about, this Living Armor is keeping the bottom tier 1 alive for now. So this means if DD are the ones to rotate down bottom, they can actually have a full tower advantage for an extended period of time, and they might even be able to get some kills.
Yeah, back down in the bottom lane, Rasta wards will come down, and DD want to fight here. They have a smoked up Witch Doctor, Void coming in. There's your Chronosphere. Degenerate does manage to get off the ultimate first, but Witch Doctor flies with the ulti. Gets silenced. Again, they get repelled. The tower will fall. The Rasta wards will do the job. The tower did not get denied. Now Fanny, he gets left behind. It ends up being an easy kill. And Nyx Assassins will come out way ahead. They get a tower and 2 hero kills. And they lose pretty much nothing except the Rasta ward cooldown.
Yeah, they were very aware of what Justin was trying to do there with the Chronosphere, and were able to perfectly move so that they wouldn't have to worry about it. The Void actually couldn't even enter his own Chrono against the Eclipse that was popped by Degenerate, and the other heroes weren't even caught out by it. So
the tower was actually denied. Sorry, that's my bad. Bloody 9 with his super long name threw me for a loop when I was trying to read
there
it.
you go.
It was actually denied by the Elder Titan. So it's not all bad. DD did find a small edge, and that will help level it out, even though it is 1 tower kill apiece. But unfortunately, they did have to concede 2 deaths there.
Yeah, this is a big cooldown, though. Exhausting that, they're at a disadvantage for a significant period of time here. If the Batrider goes with his Blink Dagger, which he's about to have, and takes a fight in the mid, there's not really anything that DD have to respond. They went 2 Midases, 1 on Razor, 1 on Void, and they don't really have any ultis up right now. The Death Ward soon, but that's about it. And this is actually Sneaky Assassin's time to strike back, pull forward in the game if they can just kind of go for a 5-man movement while they still have this timing window. I'm
a little surprised to see the Hand of Midas out on Razor. It's not a very common build. More often than not, you'll see Razors rush a mech, and if they have someone on their team that is more of a natural mech carrier, you'll see the Razor oftentimes just rush for the Ag Scepter or even a BKB in a game where magic immunity is really key. And this may just be one such game. Sure, they have the Lasso, which can still lock you down through the BKB, but every other hero on that team has some pretty significant damage output, and even Batrider has some pretty serious magic damage output. So maybe that's what the Razor is rushing here. We will see initiation up top as the Batrider finds the Lasso onto Justin. The follow-up damage is there. TC with a big thunderclap will be able to crit him down and secure a kill. Fanny will walk away, compliments of that Nature's Guise. But Sneaky Nyx Assassins gaining even more momentum here, and they will grab a gold and experience lead.
Nothing you can do about that situation, and now they're going to be down for the count just a little bit. They still should be able to hold the tower. Once again, they have the Chronosphere back up, but getting that kill while you still have the opportunity and creating space for Luna to free farm is exactly how they want to play this early game. The only thing that Seeking Nyx right now are kind of lacking is Ancient stacks, but I'm sure they'll get to that in just the next couple minutes.
Up top, they are pinging out Fanny, so they know that Tran is nearby, but whoa, in the mid lane, we'll see a Chronosphere. Justin hops forward onto Degenerate. No ultimate for him this time. It's just coming up. He will survive the initial onslaught. Actually pops the ulti and tries to turn around. A lot of beams coming out onto the Faceless Void. That'll be 1 kill. Now the Witch Doctor in some big trouble. He'll get caught in the tornado. He will get chopped down by the Pandas. Boulder toss onto 207. Does have himself some living armor, but oh, Rasta wards. That'll trap you in. TC comes back to full health, gets a crit, and way too sexy. We'll find a double kill. It's a 1-for-3 exchange. They lose their Skywrath Mage in the fray. But sneaky Nyx Assassins come out way ahead, and they're about to get a top tier 1 tower kill as well if nobody can test Mike here.
Yeah, the fact that Luna survived there was absolutely huge. Was able to contribute to the kill against the Void, and yeah, this is the problem with a Razor going for Midas. He just lacks early durability. They still, under the Serpent Wards, probably would have brought him down even with a little bit of extra health, but every time he goes into a fight, he does have to be concerned for his own life. The Eye of the Storm won't be used to its maximum, and TC seems to be gunning for him. Right now, he finds the openings to get the big collapse off, and he has just been redefining how every fight plays out with this Brewmaster play.
Yep, definitely right. And Justin will retreat back down to the bottom lane and can continue to commence the farm. Just a Mask of Madness on him. No other real item progression. Luna now has a Ring of Aquila and some power treads, so she is in fighting form, and those little bit of stats that she had, complements of these early items, did help her survive in that last skirmish. As you mentioned, that was really the big deal breaker. Her Eclipse did a lot of return damage that obviously wouldn't have been there had she taken a tumble. Now in the mid lane, we will see the sneaky Nyx Assassins group up for a tower push. There is a Dire Glyph available. Living Armor has been coming out, and the tower will stay standing for now. But they are ready to take a skirmish. We see Mike off to the side, will grab the Elder Titan with a lasso and brings him right into the front of the lines. Mike taking a lot of damage here. The Razor will be able to finish him off, and it seems like the Nyx Assassins were just not on the same page there. Mike hops into his death, and the rest of the team does not really follow up.
That's the kind of play a Batrider with a 4-staff can absolutely make, but as he is, Mike just doesn't have the movement speed, doesn't have the mobility to prevent it. We do see a convergence onto Witch Doctor. They're going to find him quick. There's the Hex. There is going to be the kill with some nice nukes coming out. But yeah, even then, losing out on their initiation and the lasso CD, I still think that DD get the better of the exchange.
Yep, now Rasta Wards come down at this top tower, and even if they glyph and pop some living armor, she'll fall, and they won't even bother for either. That's a tower last hit for Degenerate, and he's also now level 11. He's really hopping up in the experience, especially compared to that of the Faceless Void, who is now level 9. So the sneaky Nyx Assassins with a very obvious advantage here. They will take a risky play on the side of the Dream Destroyers as they move into the Roche pit. No minus armor here, so Roche not falling very quickly. No medallion, but it is just Justin and 207. So this is rather sneaky, not something you'd normally expect at this stage in the game. And there is no Radiant Vision, so maybe they can get away with this, but I don't know. Do they have the damage to finish off Roche? He's doing quite a bit of damage to him here.
They have the Living Arm, they have the Regen Rune. It's going to take a while, but they will be able to bring it down, and this is actually huge for the team as a whole. Getting that extra bump of gold to put Witch Doctor in a position where he can actually try to go for that Aghanim's. He's already started it, but this will put him to the first piece after that. And then also the Elder Titan should be picking up a mechanism pretty quickly after this Roche kill as well. So big gold gain across the board. The Aegis is of minor impact, but it's still pretty great on Razor one way or another. So we'll see them maybe being able to push out a tower with that intact. And like you said, SNA just have no idea.
Yeah, and it's just such an awkward timing here. And that regeneration, when I actually hadn't noticed it in the bottle, but that's what really tipped the scales. Without that, I don't think they would have had the sustainability, even with the living armor, to bring down Roche with just those two heroes. Aegis of the Immortal does go the way of the Faceless Void, actually, not the Razor. And as always, that Eye of the Storm does persist through the Aegis death. So one of the reasons why Razor is truly one of the best Aegis carriers. Also because he does like to be up in the front, so that Eye of the Storm can do maximum damage and hit those big targets. So just a damn good item on him, but they want this Faceless Void to be safe. He has fallen behind a little bit, and, well, this will give him a second chance in these upcoming skirmishes, at least in the next 6 minutes or so. Witch Doctor will find TC. He'll hop forward, pops the Thunderclap. There's the ultimate. Living Armor comes out, and the Voodoo Restoration is there, but they may still be able to bring him down. Fluff does pop a dust. Maybe they'll just switch over to the Treant. As he does get Cyclone, comes back down to Earth. There is some support from DD on their way in. Skywrath Mage throws the Mystic Flare. Panda doing a lot of damage. The cask is bouncing through, but they bring down the tree. He does manage to get the ultimate off before he falls. Now the Panda back into Brew form. Justin will hop forward. He takes a silence. No chrono for him, and now he's out of mana. He'll get caught by the lasso, pulled to the high ground, and he may fall here. Now Luna coming in, pops the Eclipse, trying to finish him off. Will find the kill onto the Witch Doctor as well as the Razor. And the sneaky Nyx Assassins do clean this up. The Void falls on the high ground. We'll be able to time walk to the other side. But wait too, he's found a Blink Dagger already. He interrupts it, and Justin will fall a second time. And that Aegis proves of little importance there as the sneaky Nyx Assassins take a huge team fight.
Yeah, absolutely immense. Just the 4-man kill swing right there with the Aegis included, and they're able to push on top of that as well because they're in just such a good position as far as Creep Equilibrium, even without the Mass Serpent Wards. So, yeah, in this fight just worked out so well as far as decision making, as far as timing goes. TC went on the offensive. He used the pandas very effectively. Pretty much got as much out of them as you'd ever want to. And then as soon as he came out, he got a really good clap. He actually drunken hazed the silence void, so he can't right click, he can't cast. What do you do at that point? And yeah, they were able to just bring a huge amount of control to their team fight.
Yeah, and following that now, Brewmaster pretty darn close to his Ag Scepter, just a Blade of Alacrity away. And Luna, I feel like Degenerate and TC have both been on point with their ultimates. We've seen a couple of really clutch eclipses where he waits until those creeps are dead and everyone's on the retreat and just comes in with the cleanup with all those Lucent Beams. Looks like we do have a minor pause here. Old Degenerate is having some lag issues, and, well, he does have a Yasha, and now taking over that #1 seat on the net worth chart, just about 50% ahead that of the Void. He's at 9.5k, Void down at about 6.5. And just glancing at the graphs, it's about a 6,000 gold lead and closer to an 8,000 experience lead for the sneaky Nyx Assassins.
Yeah, this Midas on 207 will eventually pay off, but in general, I just kind of have the opinion that already it's hindered him more than just getting some raw durability items would have provided. Because, like, essentially what it is if you get a kill every other transmute, because of an item pickup that's not Midas, then you might as well have just not gone Midas. So that's kind of my perspective on it, is that right now he's using it every 100 seconds. He's getting some good golden experience on a relatively greedy team, which is good, but at the same time, they're just under so much pressure. There's a 10-kill momentum swing in favor of SNA, and right now the Razor isn't going to come online in full for an extended period. Like, if this game goes for 45 minutes or so, I'd say it's a good pickup, but for right now they're on the ropes at 18 and they just need to bring it later.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you here. And looking at the roster of the sneaky Nyx Assassins, it seems a little silly to come into this game and assume that they won't be aggressive towards the end of the laning stage and certainly into the mid game. They have so much magic damage and so many heroes that really peak around this stage of the game. I'm surprised, and as we mentioned before, Razor is usually all about that mech timing. Sort of similar to an Enigma, you get that really early sustainability item, and that's what allows you to be aggressive, and you use that momentum to not only shut down your opponents, but take some team fights and knock down some towers, and once you get that Ag Scepter, you can really do some crippling damage. And this build just doesn't really seem to synergize with the playstyle of Razor that we've seen in recent days. But maybe they can turtle up long enough, and once that Midas kicks in, he will be able to grab Ag's Refresher before too long. And that's when Razor will start to look pretty potent. So I think for DD right now, it's just all about biding their time, minimizing the losses, and they are doing pretty well, at least minimizing tower pushing. They've only lost 2 towers. One of them was denied, and this mid-tier one, which was pretty low, has been just about completely healed up, compliments of that living armor.
Yeah. I think the mech coming out for the Elder Titan is pretty huge for the side of Dream Destroyers. Right now, if as they are, the living armor is not enough to keep in the fights. The Voodoo Restoration only rank 1, so that certainly isn't either. And even the Leech Seed hasn't been really ranked up. So right now, they're looking to survive throughout the fight with the Razor, and all he's got is 1,400 effective HP and a maxed out living armor to bring him up. But if they add in the mech on top of that, then you can get maybe a second cooldown of living armor, maybe some Leech Seed, and a Voodoo Restoration heal will be enough over time to really keep you up, and that's where it gets more difficult for SNA. But on the other hand, Skywrath is going to be approaching level 11. The Blink Shadow Shaman's already there, and it is really going to be hard to survive against this lineup.
Now, it's not all bad for the Dream Destroyers. There are a few things going their way. One is the Witch Doctor. He already has Ags, Ogre Club, and 500 gold, so about 1,500 away from the Ag Scepter, which is a potentially game-changing item. And Bloody Nine, speak of the devil, he'll get caught by a lasso, and they'll probably be able to bring him down as Mystic Flare comes out. Yeah, more than enough damage. But he is damn close to his mech, and I think he actually picked it up before he took a tumble there. So minimizing his gold loss, and also good news for the team. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, we'll see WWD in some trouble. TC and Way 2 hop upon him, the Blink buddies, and nothing the Witch Doctor can do as he tries to farm up that Ag Scepter. That will slow him down, and a very quick 2-for-0 trade around the map as the Nyx Assassins continue to gain momentum and look towards this mid-tier 1 tower. Roster wards come down, and a double damage rune up on TC.
Yeah, unfortunately, DD just have no way to dictate when a fight occurs. Right now, there are 3 Blink Daggers up, a 4-staff as well, almost 2 on the side of Sneaky Nyx Assassin, but there are absolutely none of those items up for DD. So the only thing they have to really rely on to jump into a fight is the Time Walk Chrono, which can be silenced by the Skywrath. So in this position, like, there's no way to actually determine a fight. You have to let SNA come to you, and most of the time when they're deciding when and where the fight's going to take place, they have the cooldowns to back it up.
Yeah, they do have their big cooldowns up now, so maybe DD can try to take a skirmish utilizing the Chronosphere and the Death Ward as we've seen, but SNA really have seemed to be pretty aware, and anytime Justin starts to get aggressive, the Skywrath is right there, finger on the trigger with the silence, and they're not giving him the easy initiations that he was hoping for. 2,200 gold up on the Void. He will move into the Ancients, and of course still has that Hand of Midas. Kind of curious to see what build he goes for here, if it's more of that carry Void like Mjolnir Crit, or if he just ends up going for an Ag Scepter to utilize the ultimate a bit more with these big combos they've got.
I don't think the Ag Scepter is going to be up fast enough to make much of a difference, so I would definitely say that the first item he needs to get is a BKB, and then build up his damage output after that. Right now, BKB is, even up against the Lasso, you still need it against everything else that SNA brings, so it's a must-have, unfortunately, and they're losing grasp on this game. So even when they do get the 10-second BKB, it's still hard to find the right fight. But now we see kind of the timing of SNA. They have Master Serpent Wards up in 10 seconds. They have all the initiation in the world, and Luna just finished up her Manta style with that mad ancient stack she farmed up on the Radiant side.
Yeah, and they're still stacking it up. She had that early Helm of the Dominator. She's got a ranged creep, and continuing to stack the Ancients, and the Dream Destroyers haven't done anything to contest it, so when a Luna has a Midas and can go early Helm of the Dominator, this is when her farm really accelerates, still holding about a 50% edge over the Faceless Void, and doesn't seem like that'll be changing anytime soon. For better or for worse, Void will take heed to my advice over yours here, Blaze, and he does grab the Maelstrom over the BKB as his first big item following the mask.
Yeah. One Drunken Haze, though, and that build is completely ruined. You just can't hit anything with that debuff on you. It does... the mischance does affect you during Chronosphere. Evasion is nullified, but mischance does persist, and if he gets hit by that Drunken Haze, then he's in for a bad time. As well, of course, the Brewmaster has Aghanim, so TC is able to even cast that well in Primal Split form. It's going to be a really hard time, because we've already seen TC focusing him with that spell, and my goodness, is he just going to be worthless if he does actually have it once or twice in the single fight.
75% mischance. That's pretty damn big. Void's usually all about the RNG with the time lock, but that is not the kind of RNG he's looking for here. IX Mike has picked up a Blink Dagger as well as a Force Staff, but also the Gem of True Sight, one of his newest pickups here. And looking at Dire Vision, they are pretty damn blind right now. They've got one Observer on the high ground outside of the Roche Pit, but it really is not giving them a hell of a lot of intel right now. And looking at Radiant Vision, they do have some much more aggressive wards down, especially this one here in the mid lane, as they do continue to knock down towers. TC will finish off that top tier 2, and their team will just rotate towards the mid lane. Luna with the Manta already popped. This tower will take a tumble pretty damn fast. DD find one big item pickup, though, and it is the Ag Scepter on the Razor, really his first core item after the Hand of Midas.
Does enhance the damage of the...
towers.
I have the Storm a little bit, but they're not going to be pushing with it whatsoever. So it really just comes down to him surviving throughout the team fight and trying to get the full Eye of the Storm where it just has that enhanced tick rate. But that's really all they can pray for. They've got ET's mech, so there is a chance for them to take a fight. But I would have to say that the longer the game goes on, that DD are going to be feeling more comfortable. Not right now.
Yeah, and the Sneaky Nyx Assassins are not giving them much room to breathe. With those 2 tower kills, there's only one outer tower remaining, and we'll take it 5-2 in total tower count. We'll see that gold graph jump up even more, about 12,000 gold and experience in favor of our Radiant side. And even a Vlad's Offering now picked up on the Panda. So they are focusing more around these mid-game items that will give them a lot of momentum in the now, and just help their team tank up in general as they group up in the bottom lane and look to finish off this last remaining tier 2 tower.
Yeah, look at Way2's net worth right now. He's right behind, he's already above their offlaner, IX Mike, but he's right behind the enemy cores. He just bypassed Razor, and he's nipping on the heels of Faceless Void. With this tower kill, he'll be pretty much there. This is absolutely insane from a support who's only claimed 76 CS across the map.
Yeah, in the top lane, they'll find Razor. Mike grabs him in the lasso, Mystic Flare to follow up, and they'll have plenty of damage to bring him down. A Flame Break for good measure. Living Armor does some help, but it's just not enough. Skywrath Mage secures the kill, and that makes it 18-5. Mid lane will catch the tail end of it as the Witch Doctor gets jumped upon by the Blink Brothers. Degenerate's there to follow up, and another easy set of kills. The Dream Destroyers, what can they do here, Blaze? They're losing momentum so quickly. I don't know. High ground is next, and maybe the Nyx Assassins are just waiting for the next Roche, and it will be very difficult for this Dire side to contest.
I don't know, man. When your Midas Faceless Void is being outfired by the enemy support Shadow Shaman, I don't know if there is an answer that is strategic in nature. You wait for the throws, you wait for somebody to just give their life away, because they're not going to take this game naturally.
Yeah, I like that. Even Luna going for an Assault Cuirass here, so obviously they do want some extra potency against these towers to try and break the base. And now Shadow Shaman, he's got a damn Aghanim Scepter to go with his Blink Dagger and Force Staff. So that means extra Serpent Wards and towers will fall that much more quickly. I feel like the Living Armor has just been a non-factor this game. Sure, it helped keep that Tier 1 tower in the mid lane alive a little bit longer than it otherwise would have, but aside from that, it seems they've got the damage just to cut through it on both heroes and towers in pretty much every engagement we've seen. Well, Wild Witch Doctor still pretty far off that Egg Scepter. He did pick up an Orb of Venom, which is interesting. You don't really see that on the Witch Doctor all too often. I guess he grabbed that in the laning phase. But just no item progression on the Dire side. They finally have the mech on Elder Titan, but it just came out too late. I don't even think he's been able to use it yet in a team fight where it's had any kind of meaningful impact.
Yeah, I don't even think he had that earlier. I think that's pretty new, which is weird. Is he threatening his teammates with a Scotty? Like,
he got the
step up,
recipe
boys, or I'll
before
do
he
it.
got picked off in the bottom lane. So
Okay.
I think he's had it for a while, but since he picked it up, it's just been singleton pickoffs where he hasn't been there to mech up his teammates. So when they really needed it were those early team fights before they lost all this momentum. But now Nyx Assassins can kind of play this guerrilla warfare style where they just roam around as a pack and look to pick people off when they're sitting by their lonesome, farming away in lane. Roche has respawned. It will get scouted out by both sides. Elder Titan utilizing the vision of that Astral Spirit. And they may try to contest in the Roche pit. They do have the big ultimates available, so perhaps they could hop in and maybe even snipe the Aegis with the Chronosphere. It is a possibility, though. It seems the Dream Destroyers won't be interested in trying as they just group up in the base. Elder Titan will put him to sleep with the Echo Stomp. So maybe they will come in after all. It is just Degenerate in the pit right now, and the rest of SNA just kind of grouped up on the outside, ready to hop in if the Dream Destroyers initiate.
It's all on WWE here. He's got Ag's level 2 Death Ward. This could be absolutely immense, but it's very difficult to get off against this team. We're going to see the last first on Justin.
Oh no, he'll fall, and now Fanny, oh god, Degenerate actually finds a kill onto Fanny. They're doing a lot of damage to him here. Roche getting very low inside of the pit. Who's going to grab it? It goes down to the Radiant, Faceless Floyd. No, pardon me, Razor actually snatches the Aegis here. He'll fall straight away. Degenerate somehow still alive on that Luna. Razor will come right back to life, but to little avail. Justin comes in, and he does have a Chronosphere, does manage to finish off Fluff, but now Rasta Wards fly. That'll be enough to bring down Razor for the second time. Void trying to make the escape. Looks like he will survive for now. It is the Witch Doctor that will get left behind. Gets caught in a tornado. TC will go back to brew form, and now he should get chopped down. He managed to use the ultimate, but I think it got canceled pretty much right away. I didn't even see it bouncing around.
Yeah,
a pretty chaotic fight in the pit, but the sneaky Nyx Assassins do come out ahead.
WWE completely misplaced his ultimate. When the Chronosphere went down, he had just been getting in position. He dropped it where he thought it would be hitting a target, but unfortunately the only thing that was in range were the Brewmaster's Brewlings. They're not heroes, so it doesn't bounce to them, and without it starting with one, it's not going to hit the rest. So the other two, too far north, a completely wasted ultimate that he just cancels out of frustration and the fact that it would have been disabled the second that the Chrono ended.
And yeah, and Mike now has a Yule Scepter here as he flies up to the high ground and finds some more wards. The Aegis was snatched by Razor once again, and it got finished off straight away, and the last hit did go the way of SNA. So even though it was a 2-for-3 trade, they did still get all of that bonus gold. Up top, we do see IX Mike kind of going blow for blow with the Tramp Protector. Does burn the lasso and doesn't have enough to bring him down. Elder Titan comes in, mech at the ready, but they don't even need it. Mike will get repelled, and it will be a killless skirmish as SNA do group up once more. Still furthering their lead, though, now upwards of 20,000 gold and experience.
Yeah, still nice use of the Yule Scepter to get out of the overgrowth and get himself to safety. At least IX Mike not overextended too far to actually feed some kills away. I will mention that at the towards the tail end of that fight, there was one really big pickoff in that exchange. Obviously, like we said, SNA pulled forward at the conclusion of it, but Razor still got a huge kill on the Luna. Luna was at a mega kill streak, that's 746 gold, going the way of 207, and we'll see what he ends up buying with it. Right now, he's just building up the overclock. Looks like he wants that BKB, and he wants to stay active in these fights.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised to see BK being not a larger priority for DD again because of all this magic damage. CTC go forward, Thunderclap on to WWD. There's the boulder toss, and they should have enough to bring him down. The second Thunderclap as well. In comes Mike, does connect with the Razor, but Yules will buy him some time. Roster Wards come down in the middle of the fray. Should be enough to finish off Justin. A 2-for-0 early on, now 207. Pops the Eye of the Storm, but won't survive very long. Fanny comes in with an overgrowth, but to no avail, just gets destroyed. TC now on a godlike streak as an easy 4-for-0 exchange comes out in favor of the sneaky Nyx Assassins. Razor now will buy back, And he will try to make a defense, but Mike is right there with the TP. Lasso at the ready, they'll silence him, and Fanny, he's pissed off, and he says G to the G.
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
Yeah, a really tough one from the early game movement of SNA. They were able to just crush every single team fight, left, right, and center, and I just don't feel that DD built appropriately to counteract the amount of pressure they were taking on. They could have had this late if they could have dragged it out, but they didn't have enough turtle. They didn't have any way to stop from being initiated upon, and SNA take a pretty easy win here. 30 minutes in the game.
Yes, sir. I don't know that there's too much else to say about it. Just a very nice performance from the Sneaky Nyx Assassins. Way 2 having a very impressive showing on that Shadow Shaman. Of course, all those early towers they knocked down did assist in his gold farm, but 7-0-12 on a hero that is notoriously slow and susceptible to those early ganks. Great positioning and great rotations from him. A dominant performance from SNA indeed. And we will get to see SNA once more today. We only have 2 games for Starladder America on this fine day. But coming up next, we will have the Sneaky Nyx Assassins versus the Brazilian team CNB. And that is scheduled to start, I believe, in about 25 minutes, right on the hour coming up here, 7 o'clock p.m. PDT. And 10 p.m. EDT. I'm Zyori in the studio of BTS and joined remotely by Blaze. Of course, you can follow us both on Twitter at ZyoriTV, at BlazeCasting, and at Beyond the Summit. We'll have a break, but stick around, guys, because more Dota 2 is coming your way after this.